to be myself. If you're not agree, you can walk away. You can walk away. You can walk away. Something in my mind leads me then I ain't nobody perfect. Something in my mind leads me then I ain't nobody perfect.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, however it is you may be listening, wherever it is that you may be listening from. Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Euphoria podcast. It is me, your host, Dave Robson. I am solo today. A little bit of technical difficulties for co-host, and my other co-host I wanted to introduce tonight, unfortunately, did get a little stuck at work. So, with that being said, how's everybody? I cannot talk tonight. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good night. If you are listening on the podcast after the live recording, I do interact with Twitch. So if you do hear me answering questions or engaging with anybody, it is on Twitch. So yes, thank you very much for understanding that. With that being said, King, what is going on? Glad you can come back, man. Definitely glad you can come back. Appreciate it. It means a lot when you do. It definitely does go a long way. So thank you so very much. Hopefully you've been winning some leagues. I know last we talked, it was between the Bucks and Sterling Shepard, and I think that was the game Shepard got hurt. And I think you said you were going Evans and Gronk. So I hope that worked out well for you. It should have in that game, I believe, because I had Evans going in that league for me as well. But I do remember that you were going back and forth with a couple things. Kyle Pitts. No, you have a lot of tight ends. Didn't you have a ton of tight ends? I think you had a ton of tight ends. Who'd you start, though? Hit me with it. Oh, let's go. So did I. I'm actually my co-host, my cousin. This was his team. He dropped a 173 bomb. He had Pitts as well on Eckler. Let me show my one team real quick, my Dynasty League. For those of you watching live on Twitch, I do show it on Twitch. If you want to watch it on YouTube, I do show it on YouTube. Don't mind the Saquon Barkley. It happens. Don't mind the Chase Edmonds. It was a bit. They have a good defense. But yeah, Kyle Pitts and my boy Kadarius. 2 weeks ago on another friend of mine's podcast, I talked about Kadarius. and we'll touch more about it in the game, but I've been raving about him for 2 weeks, and so far in 2 weeks, he has done well. So we will touch on that, but real quick, in my one dynasty league that I am in, I have both Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. That's disturbing. King said he dropped 159 without Saquon. Very nice. So anybody who's wondering, I do have Daniel Jones and I do have Saquon Barkley. And if you didn't know, Kadarius Toney's probably going to be trying to go up against Deontay Wilder, or Tyson Fury within the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned for that one. But I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. I'm glad you came in, King, with the Pitts talk, because that's the game I am going to start with reviewing first. We had the Jets and Atlanta in London. It was it wasn't close in the first half. It was literally a tale of two halves. Atlanta was up 20-3 at the end of the first half, and then the Jets outscored them in the second half. Just unfortunately could not outscore them all the way. Zach Wilson, I may have said last week he could have been somebody to play. I thought they would have had a better game, considering I think that, I just thought they would have been better coming off that win. They would have been playing really well. And then you get the news about no Calvin Ridley and no Gage, and you're just like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, this should be a win for the Jets. So I did talk about Corey Davis, starting him. I did like other people over Corey Davis. I did say that. So if you did start Corey Davis, I am sorry. I was off on that, and I may have raved a little bit about Wilson maybe doing something. I thought he was going to do more than what he did. One bad interception, and that's about that for them. 2, we're going to go to the Falcons. Matt Ryan is looking like a good quarterback. Again, things are going well. They were playing the Jets. So again, taking all things into consideration, taking it with a grain of salt. Patterson did touch the ball a total of 21 times. He had 7 receptions on 9 targets, and he had 14 carries for 54 yards. Something I looked at in this game as a Mike Davis owner is the offensive, because I was up at like 7 a.m. Eastern. I watched the game. The line blocks better for Cordero Patterson. They just do. I think Mike Davis has like 100 and something yards, 100 plus yards before contact so far this year, and over 100 yards after contact. Like, I just think like 102 maybe after contact. I was reading or heard the stat earlier today. That's mind-boggling. The line actually blocks better for Cordell Patterson. Now, these things happen where you see an offensive line want to block more for a particular player. I don't necessarily know why. Mike Davis is not a bad running back, and I think if they were to block like they do for Cordero Patterson for Mike Davis, you would see better numbers from Mike Davis. He is averaging, he did average 4 yards a carry this game, 4.1, had the touchdown that saved him a little bit. He had 2 catches for 8 yards on 5 targets. He's not the greatest pass catcher, but he can do it. But, this was, I think, game flow dependent on you don't have probably two of your better receivers. Tajay Sharp had a nice game, 453. You're not doing anything there. Hayden Hurst had a nice game, 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. With George Kittle being out and Max Williams now going down, Hayden Hurst might be somebody you could look for, but not really, because they have Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts did line up a lot as receiver this week just because of missing the 2 receivers. So Hayden Hurst did get more traditional tight end looks and does continue to get more traditional tight end looks. But Kyle Pitts is the tight end to start. I'm sure next year, based on snap percentage, he'll probably end up being a tight end and a receiver, which could be good for multiple formats going in to next season in redrafts. Even in dynasty leagues or keeper leagues, it could be good because you can then have a receiver and then afford to drop another receiver and then maybe draft a better tight end because you have Pitts. So something to keep in mind, something to look at come down the end of the year. Anyway, Kyle Pitts had his breakout game. It was against the Jets. I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter for a little bit. Twitter is sports_euphoria. I had just said, his game was coming against the Jets. It's good to see. It's a confidence game. It's good for his confidence. And they were just saying, it's the Jets. I understand it's the Jets. You play the person that you're scheduled to play in front of you. they're getting paid millions of dollars to play against you, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play against them. It was a very good game for Kyle Pitts. And from a confidence standpoint, when you're a rookie and you get going and you have a game like this against professional athletes, it's going to help your confidence. It has to. I mean, just in your line of work, if you do well, or you get, like commended for doing something, or you get recognized, do you not work harder? Do you not feel better? Do you not like, oh, I could do this. This isn't that bad. So that confidence does go a long way in anything. And I think that that's something that you have to look at. Yes, he did get more targets, but he's been averaging, almost double-digit targets since the season started. 9, 8, 9, 10, like those types of things he's been getting. So this shouldn't come as a surprise. It should matter if they put it together. And he was really the only pass-catching option, and you still couldn't stop him. It was literally, you have to stop two people, Cordero Patterson and Kyle Pitts. That's it. Next time, it's going to be Cordero, Kyle Pitts, and Calvin Ridley. So that could, again, help Kyle Pitts as well. I think Kyle Pitts is just there now. I mean, you should have been starting him every week for the just potential of what's happening, especially with all the tight ends not being there. So it was good to see. I'm very happy. I was very happy to see that. Also, King did bring up in Twitch that Young Hoku had a very good game as a kicker. He did have 2 field goals, longest being 52. So depending on how your league scores field goals, sometimes it's 5 for everything over 50, 6 for 60, 4 for 40, 3 for 30, and then it's 3 for the 20s and everything else. Depending on, he had 3 extra points as well. So depending on your league, he had a very nice game. 9 fantasy points in basic standard, 3 for field goals. But I think a lot of leagues changed that, considering kickers were getting more, their legs were getting stronger and stronger. So overall, good game, I think, out of everybody involved, at least for the Falcons. Like I said, you weren't really starting too many people from the Jets unless you had to start Corey Davis. So it's game 1 for the Falcons. Let's see, what is next? What game are we going to break down next? Let's go with... I'm going to try to go with the 1 o'clock games if I can. We'll just go in order of what ESPN has right now. So next is Cowboys Giants. I think because I'm in this area or I follow them, that's how it's touted to me. The Cowboys, I mean, Dak threw the ball 32 times. 22 of 32. Good game for him. He was sacked twice, which is good to see by the Giants that they did get 2 sacks. Dalton Schultz, again, 8 targets. CeeDee Lamb, 6 targets. Amari Cooper, 6 targets. The receivers having the touchdowns were very good to see, especially with limited, receptions. He spread the ball out very well. Cedric Wilson had a catch. Tony Pollard had 4. Zeke had 2. Both Noah Brown and Amari Cooper both had 3. Schultz obviously having 6, CD 4. CD's touchdown definitely saved his game. The long touchdown when he beat James Bradbury, because he would have had 3 catches then. He could have had other ones depending on how that drive continued to go, but that catch was 49 yards for a touchdown. So, to the 84, you could do that math there. Amari Cooper, longest catch, 24 yards. But yeah, it was a good game overall for the Cowboys. All the Cowboys that you expected to do well did well. Schultz, didn't have the touchdown this week, but did have 6 for 79. So that is good to see. Oh, wow. King started Dak, Harris, Barkley, Chase, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Pitts, Evans, Raiders, and Koo. Yeah, it's definitely a good lineup for sure. Harris, I know Harris got hurt for the Patriots. Oh, wait, is it Najee Harris? I think you said it's Najee Harris. It wouldn't be Damon Harris or Najee. I shouldn't have assumed. But for the Giants, you're gonna it's an early waiver wire Wednesday episode, but you're gonna want to pick up Devontae Booker if he's not picked up. He's gonna be the running back. Don't be surprised if they also try to use Kadarius Toney in a lot of different looks as well, just to get the ball in his hands. Considering that you may have Shepard and Slayton back. Was Najee Harris. Yeah, your team dropped a ton of points. Jones is in concussion protocol. He was apparently, from reports, talking to his parents in outside the locker room towards the end of the game. That's a good sign. He did fly back with the team. They're going to obviously reevaluate him and everything like that over the course of the week. And if he can get through concussion protocol, he's going to be playing. They play the Rams next week, so it's probably not the best game to start him. I don't even think that's going to be I don't even know if you want to start any Giants players at all next week, to be completely honest with you, but we'll talk about that. Saquon, low ankle sprain. It looked like a goose egg on his ankle when they took the tape off. If you didn't watch or see that picture, please go and take a look at it. Quite massive goose egg on his ankle. But you're going to pick up Booker. Look, the Rams have been exploited. You can kind of see there's tape out on them now. They're going to avoid Aaron Donald. They're going to avoid Jalen Ramsey. Hopefully, Kenny Galladay could do something. He hyperextended his knee, tried to play. He left again. It was too annoying, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't feel really good about any Giants player unless you necessarily have to, but we'll talk about that in the preview episode. Kadarius Toney set a Giants rookie record for receiving yards, breaking Odell's record by 4 yards. I think Odell had 185. Kadarius had 189, and also showed that he can throw down. Why you punch a man with a helmet on, I don't understand. Temper's flared. He had a short temper in college when he was in Florida, which is why he fell to the Giants. He's talented. People were saying he's a gimmicky player. You have to just find creative ways to give him the ball. He's a special teams guy. No, I'm sorry. This man makes catches. This man makes move. There's a catch on the sideline. He left the game for a little while because he got hurt on a catch that he made on the sideline that was absolutely gorgeous. He went up and he got it. You should be adding Kadarius Toney and you should be adding Devontae Booker. Even if Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton come back, I do not expect his role to be downplayed that much. He did. It was like an ankle or something like that, I think, King. But he did come back and play in the game and still had some catches and was running well. So I think it may have just been like a little twist of an ankle. When he came down from that catch, I think it kind of just he like may have landed on it weird. But he came out and looked good afterwards. I haven't heard much of anything else. That's not really, at the same point, anything about him right now is if he's going to possibly be suspended. So if he is suspended, then the foot injury is going to be like, yeah. If it's serious, well, not that serious, but serious enough to make him possibly miss a week. But he did have 10 for 189. Could have probably had a touchdown had he not gotten tackled at the 2-yard line, if not a little bit closer. I was hoping they would have tried to find a way to get it to him. Led the team in targets with 13. He was basically it. Jones was having a really bad game before he got concussed. He looked really bad when he stumbled. Glennon came in. He threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Devontae Booker caught the touchdown pass. A little swing. Just a little, in the flat swing to Booker at the end of the game. Garbage time means super like nothing. But I do think Kadarius is somebody to pick up, as well as if you're a Saquon owner, definitely pick up Booker. If you're not a Saquon owner, still try to get Booker depending on what your team looks like. I know I'm going to be trying to do that in one of my leagues and 2 of my leagues. One of my leagues, we need running backs. The other one, I have Saquon in my dynasty league, so I'm going to look to try to make a move with the Devontae Booker owner next week or this week, tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated and see what happens with that. But Slayton and Sterling Shepard should come back. We'll stay updated on Daniel Jones. I will stay up to that on Twitter, under sports_euphoria. But with that being said, I mean, you're basically starting the usual for the Cowboys. Every week they perform well, not too much there, but definitely take a look at Kadarius Toney and Devontae Booker in your leagues for waiver wire. I'll dive more into them on Wednesday. Next, we have the Packers and the Bengals. So if you had kickers and you missed points for missed field goals, they could have lost you a game. Just saying. They could have lost you a game. For Saquon, Booker's probably the best. You could also look for Darrell Williams from Kansas City. CEH, Edwards-Helaire has this MCL sprain. So you could look for Williams in Kansas City. They give him a lot of the goal line carries already. They would take CEH out, depending on he's somebody to take a look at as well. I think a lot of people may underlook him because everybody's going to want to go for Saquon Barkley for his replacement, possibly. But that's somebody to take a look at as well. And also in deeper leagues, depending on if you can afford to, A.J. Dillon, which I'm going to talk about with the Packers, has been getting more and more involved in the game. He had 12 total touches for 79 total yards and a touchdown. 8 carries for 34 catches, 49. He was the only person that really caught the ball other than Devontae Adams. It was a Devontae Adams show. 11 catches for 206 and a touchdown. Guy was on another level. But if you lose points, Hubbard, I would see if you could trade Hubbard if you have Hubbard, because I think McCaffrey's supposed to come back next week. So if you wanted to maybe increase the depth of your team by trading him to the McCaffrey owner, that would be a good idea. If you want to, you don't have to. You could keep him, obviously, in case McCaffrey gets hurt again, because it was a hamstring injury, and he is a very explosive player, so that could linger. But Aaron Rodgers had an interception, a bad interception, 2 touchdowns for 344. Aaron Jones had a huge game. Again, rushed for over 100 yards. Longest carry was 57. I mean, you're only really starting Devontae Adams as a wide receiver in this team. I don't see anything else. You're only starting Rodgers, Adams, and Jones. So that's really it. For the Bengals, Joe Burrow was released from the hospital with his throat contusion. He did have a throat contusion. He was released. So that's very good to know. Samaje Perine taking his last name, putting it with his first name. Samaje Perine had a good game. 11 for 59 yards on carries. He averaged, over 5 yards a carry. Joe Mixon did get 10 carries for 33 and a touchdown. A very nice move for the touchdown. Nice little sidestep. Jamar Chase, it was a Jamar Chase show. I mean, 10 targets. Burrow had to throw the ball a lot this game, and he just showed you in throwing the ball, he's going to throw it to one guy only. T. Higgins was back, so Tyler Boyd is probably droppable now. With T. Higgins being there, he could get some things, but you're not going to really be playing him anymore, maybe for a bye week. But the 2 top pass catchers there are T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. CJ Uzoma, 2 catches for 16. I told you last week from waiver wires not to really pick him up. It's not worth it. But Samaje Perine, if you have Joe Mixon, I recommend trying to get Perine. Perine did just get placed on the COVID protocol IR, but he does have some time to get ready for that. They don't play on Thursday. So they do have some time where he can, get some negative tests, be away from the team for 5 days. So keep that in mind. Samaje Perine for Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon will probably be a go next week, fully, 100% go. And that's really it for this game. Like I said, Jamar Chase had a game, 6 for 159 and a touchdown. I think he had a blown coverage on one or two of his catches. He had a nice 70-yard touchdown. The guy can play. He's good. I didn't think the offensive line was going to be as good as it was for the Bengals. Joe Burrow did also take a weird hit, got up from that. He looks good. He does. The Bengals, he could break the curse. I just think they need to get him a little bit more of a better offensive line, and they'll be fine. And just shirk the defense a little bit, because I think if they had a better defense, they probably win this game. But yeah, like I said before, the missed field goal game. Basically, if you had a kicker for this game, they just missed a bunch of field goals. Mason Crosby, I think, missed 3. There were 5 missed field goals this game. That's all I know. And that's really all that matters. I'm just going to be honest with you. Mason Crosby went 4 for 7. 4 for 7. McPherson, 0 for 2. And he thought he made the game winner, and he didn't. Sucks to suck, buddy. Next, we're going to go Lions-Vikings. Lions-Vikings. Hate to see it happen to the Lions. You really do. They have a crazy game. They have an opportunity to maybe do something, and they lose. Their defense lost it again. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Quintez Cephas left with a broken collarbone. He's probably out for the year. TJ Hockenson had a bad game. If you're looking for, because he was playing hurt or injured, if you would like, I would recommend, depending on who has TJ Hockenson in your league, maybe taking him off of their hands for something, depending on what their tight end situation looks like. If you are weak at tight end, think about it, because I don't think he was playing hurt. Amon-Ra St. Brown 7 catches for 65 yards. Goff had no touchdowns and an interception, so no receivers caught anything. DeAndre Swift did have a rushing touchdown towards the end of the game. He had 11 carries for 51 yards and 6 catches as well for 53. So he did have over 100 yards, which is very good. But Jamal Williams did take a majority of the carries at 13, as well as 2 catches. For the Vikings, I had a gut feeling. So I have Mike Davis in one of my leagues, and Miles Sanders, and Damian Williams, and Alexander Mattison. Dalvin Cook gets hurt. I was reading that he was a game time decision, and I had this feeling. I'm like, I think I should pull Damian or Mike Davis, who's playing at 9:30, for Alexander Mattison or Damian Williams, like because it said Madison was a game time, so we had Davis and Sanders or Davis and Williams. So what we did, it's a league I'm in with my buddy. We have Justin Herbert. We took out Sanders or Damian Williams. And we put in Alexander Mattison. Now, if he didn't fumble, we'd have a couple more points, but he did fumble towards the end. But it wasn't, a painful game. Painful loss, I should say. He's playing the Dalvin Cook role. It's just plug and play. You kind of just forget about it. So you should have Alexander Mattison if you're a Dalvin Cook owner. We played the Dalvin Cook owner, and it was basically a 30-point swing. He had about 29 points. Kirk Cousins had 1 touchdown. Not one of his greater games from a standpoint of like overall. He had, it was just sloppy. Justin Jefferson had 7 catches on 8 targets for 124 yards. Madison had 7 catches. So Madison touched the ball 32 times and had over 150 yards from scrimmage. Adam Thielen, something is wrong with Adam Thielen. Don't know what it is. Not sure if it's just a matter of they've been playing tougher defense or they've been covering Thielen or game flow or Cousins just isn't looking his way. It could be like a Robert Woods thing. Maybe if he vocalizes his frustrations, he'll get more targets. We'll see what happens. But KJ Osborne, I talked about it. I was not crazy on KJ Osborne. They have Dede Westbrook as well. And Tyler Conklin. They have other weapons. I do not like KJ Osborne. If you have him, drop him. There's no point in having him anymore. He had 1 big game, and it was like a flash in the pan. He has to be a little more consistent for me. Maybe if they decide to do something with Thielen, they can move up, but I don't think they're going to. But also keep an eye on Madison because I believe Minnesota, has their bye week 7. So they might try to, depending on how Cook feels, they may try to sit him again next week. In week 6 and maybe play Madison again. So take a look into that if you're a Madison owner. Just keep an eye on that. Other than that, though, nothing crazy. The biggest 2 players for this game were Jefferson and Madison. You were playing them. Kirk Cousins, I'm not really starting unless you're super, super desperate or something, or something happened to you. So that is that game. Let's see. What else do we have? Who's next? Broncos, Steelers. Steelers get a win. Almost lost it. Javonte Williams had 8 carries, 61 yards, averaged 7.6 yards a carry. They have to just feed him all the time. Sorry, Melvin Gordon. It's not your backfield anymore. Figure it out. Go somewhere else. Demand a trade. Something. They are going to be a 1-2 punch, and Javonte Williams is going to have a Melvin Gordon problem because Melvin Gordon can play and can catch. He did so in San Diego / Los Angeles, where the Chargers. Go Chargers. Cortland Sutton had himself a game. I got nervous because I benched Cortland Sutton for Kadarius Toney. It paid off in the end, thankfully. So I felt better about that. But Cortland Sutton, he rolled his ankle earlier in the game, came back and said, I got this. 11 targets, 7 receptions, 120 yards. Within the past 2 weeks, I want to say it's been 2 weeks, he's had 260 yards. 141 week and 120 the next. Tim Patrick, 7 catches, 89 yards. It's them. It's those 2. No Hamler, no Judy still for a little while. When Judy comes back, I still like Sortland. Jesus. Cortland Sutton's opportunity. I think he's still going to be that player because Judy's a very good route runner. He's not going to necessarily be the burner like Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase. or Devontae Smith, he's gonna kill you with 1,000 cuts, a death by 1,000 cuts with him. He's gonna run clean routes. But I do like Sutton. I think Patrick's production drops when Judy comes back, but we'll see. Other than that, Bridgewater, decent game, 288 and 2 touchdowns and a pick. They almost had it at the end. They just couldn't score on the last play of the game. Steelers, you're not starting Big Ben. 15 for 25. He got lucky. Everybody gets lucky. Don't start him. Najee Harris, though, my God. 23 carries, 122 yards, 5.3 yards a carry, and a touchdown. He's the real deal. They did give Kalen Ballage 4 carries and Benny Snell Jr. 5. So if they had a lead and they don't probably want to, run Harris into the ground. I have Anthony McFarland in my dynasty league. He's on IR. I think he's possibly on a PUP list. I expect him to be the backup when he comes back. Very promising coming out of training camp and preseason, and he was kind of that backup guy. So just keep an eye on that when he comes back. If he comes back this season, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster is hurt. He got hurt on a running play. He dislocated his shoulder, I believe, had some surgery, a bad dislocation, had or was having surgery. So you all know when one of those Pittsburgh receivers goes down, who's stepping up? Chase Claypool. It just happens. 5 for 130 and a touchdown on 6 targets. Deontay Johnson did have a nice game, 72 yards and a touchdown. However, 72 of those total yards came on a 50-yard touchdown pass. So just keep that in mind. Deontay Johnson is the best receiver on that team and will get targets. It was just very game script. You could get help over the top. The Broncos have a very good defense. So if he's going to go run deeper routes, they take longer to develop, and Ben doesn't have that much time. So typically on his routes, he's beating his guy quick, and Ben has time to run to catch up to the ball when Ben throws it. So I like Chase Claypool a lot because he's more of that possession receiver, Larry Fitzgerald-esque role. Role, not player, Larry Fitzgerald-esque role. I want people getting mad at me saying I'm calling Chase Claypool Larry Fitzgerald. Anyway, what do we have next? Let's keep it going. I think Broncos good. Yes, I did tweet out that I think the Broncos are not the best. We're not the best 3-0 team. They played teams that were 0-9 going into week 4. I just don't think that they're better. They're a solid 3-0 team. They're competitive. They have a good defense, and Teddy Bridgewater is going to keep them in game. Teddy Bridgewater is not going to lose games. How they're going to lose games is if their defense just cannot stop somebody. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be very efficient. Next we have, oh God, I don't want to talk about this game. Dolphins Bucks. This was a close game early, and by early I mean at halftime it was 24-10. So you think maybe then the Dolphins score again, so it's 24-17 in the third, and then the fourth quarter the Bucks scored 21. Kobe Brissett, from what I heard, did have a hamstring injury. The first quarter, came back, finished it out. Myles Gaskins was the guy to have in this game. He had 10 catches on 10 targets for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did not run the ball well at all. Well, he ran the ball well, but you're not running against the Bucks. So they had a lot of flats. They got him with this. They definitely got him with this. I'm not starting him next week. Unless you need to start Myles Gaskin, I would wait a week. I would definitely wait a week for sure. And then for the Bucks, Tom Brady killed it. 411 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Fournette had a good game, 12 carries, 67 and a touchdown. He's probably their top back running the ball wise. I do want to say, look at Giovanni Bernard, as somebody you could pick up during bye weeks if you're desperate. He does play the James White role for Tom Brady. He did have 2 catches and a touchdown. Nothing too crazy, but he did have a touchdown. So, the 2 catches will definitely help PPR, and 35 total yards. So what's that? 11 points, compared to other people out there, that was a decent game. Ronald Jones, don't know really what he's doing anymore, ever. But Mike Evans, 2 touchdowns, 113 yards. Antonio Brown, 7 for 124 and 2 touchdowns. Godwin, 7 for 70. Fournette did have a total of 100 yards. He had 4 catches. Tight ends didn't do anything. I thought Cameron Brate would have been a good play this week, but they did absolutely nothing. So nothing too out of the ordinary here for the Buccaneers. Next, we're going to try to get through this so we can get you guys to watch that Monday Night Football game. Next, we have the super efficiently inefficient Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints against the Washington football team. So, Jameis Winston completed 50% of his passes, had 4 touchdowns, and an interception. I don't understand how you complete 50% of your passes and have 4 touchdowns. Like 4 of your passes went for touchdowns. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Taylor Heineke did not have a typical Taylor Heineke game. He did have some really nice throws, had 2 interceptions. Alvin Kamara, 16 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. He looked good, and he had some catches, 5 catches for 51 and a touchdown. 122 total yards for Kamara with 2 TDs. It was very nice to see him get these targets. He got 8 targets, considering last week he had 0. Absolutely nada. Deandre Harris did get hurt. He had 1 catch for 72 yards and a touchdown. You weren't starting Deandre Harris. Marquez Callaway, 4 catches on 8 targets, 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of them was on a Hail Mary. He got higher than everybody else and came down with the football. Can't take it away from it's a stat, but I'm just saying. For Washington, Taylor Heineke, I still do like him in streamers. If you need him, I might, because Daniel Jones is hurt. Hopefully he'll be more efficient next week. Running backs, Antonio Gibson, the Mr. Touchdown-dependent running back, 20 carries for 60 yards and 2 TDs. Saved him. So that's 12 points from touchdowns alone. He had 2 passes, so maybe 14, 15 points. No, wait. 6, 12, 18. So just about 20 points pretty much. So, and speaking of the Saints, I got from one of my viewers on Twitch, King, has a hot take of the Saints don't go anywhere this year if they don't start Taysom Hill sooner rather than later. I'd agree with you, but I think Taysom Hill forgot what team he plays for. If you didn't, King, take a look at the shot he took. And I'd agree with you. I would. I think the arm talent for Jameis is better. I think Taysom Hill's throw and throwing motion reminds me a lot of Tim Tebow's. It's a big windup, and you can't do that in the NFL. Tim Tebow showed you can't do that in the NFL. If they can fix that throwing mechanic, I do like it because he is a very versatile weapon. But I can see that. I'll say that, the Saints are going to be over 500 with Jameis because he's good. He's going to win you games, but he's just going to lose you them as well. Hopefully going into the bye week, they're able to hopefully kind of like have him look for the smarter plays rather than just trying to shoot it down the field all the time. He's going to throw for almost 5,000 yards and have probably 40 touchdowns. It's just what it is with Jameis, unfortunately. Taysom Hill is definitely more responsible with the football, but his throwing motion, it's gonna telegraph to the defense where the pass is going because it takes him so long to throw the ball, which is why they typically, like they used to have somebody come in for Peyton towards the end of his career. They had Brock Osweiler come in to throw deep bombs at the end of Peyton Manning's career because Peyton couldn't do it. Taysom Hill is a cannon. So does Jameis Winston, though. But Taysom Hill is a cannon. So, I can see that hot take. And you never know if Jameis gets hurt from so many sacks or maybe eating too many W's. Maybe Taysom comes in. I do think if you did not see Taysom Hill's hit, you should, because it was not fun. It was worse than Jones. The hit didn't look bad. The after effects looked worse. Terry McLaurin, 4 for 46. 11 targets. Look, if Taylor Heineke learned anything from Fitzpatrick, it's just throw it to your best receiver all the time. Don't care what he's doing. throw it to him. Not really worried about anybody else here. Somebody to look at is Ricky Seals-Jones, though, because he did get 8 targets this game. So just look at Ricky Seals-Jones in leagues that you need a tight end, especially, again, if Max Williams was your starting tight end, you should probably look at Ricky Seals-Jones. Just saying. But that's it for that game. Nothing too crazy there. Eagles, Panthers. First half looked atrocious for the Eagles. Atrocious. The safety, the bad snap, it was a disaster. But if Jalen Hurts can do anything, it's bring your team back. And it's exactly what he did. Jalen Hurts had a good game, 198 yards and an interception. He did rush for 30 and have 2 touchdowns. That did save him. He was, again, a top-performing quarterback. From a fantasy perspective. Devontae Smith, 7 catches on 8 targets for 77 yards. He would have had a touchdown had Greg Ward not done an illegal pick play. Would have been an interception if he sold it a little bit better. King, have a good workout. Appreciate you coming by. And whenever you can come by, or whatever it is that you can listen, or whatever it is, I appreciate it. As always, have a good one. For anybody, again, that was for my Twitch chat. I do go live on Twitch at Sports Euphoria, twitch.tv/Sports Euphoria, where you can interact with me and my co-host when I have them live, and we can answer some of your questions. Devontae Smith, though, just they get it. The Eagles finally get it. They're just feeding him the ball. Get him the ball however you can. He's running better routes. He's showing he has good hands. He's staying up on 2 feet, not falling down now. But yeah, it was just it was an ugly game. It was an ugly win, and the Eagles should not have won it, but they did. Miles Sanders, I have him, and he's talented. Miles Sanders is a very good running back. I don't know why he's not performing well, or they're just not using him. It makes no sense to me. 11 carries, 45 yards, nothing crazy, but he did have 5 catches for 6 yards, but it was 5 catches on 5 targets. So in a PPR, he got you some points, at least 5 plus got you like 9 plus 0.6 and 0.5. So it's like 10.1, I think, depending on. Anyway, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. Goddard had another drop. And again, I'm tired of people. I've been listening to some stuff, and I'm tired of people saying Jalen Hurts in that one game missed Dallas Goedert. Look at it from the other angle. I think it was when they played the Cowboys or something. I don't remember, but it pisses me off. Look at that. He got his hands. It went through his hands, and they're throwing it on Hurts. Stop. Hurts is the reason you won this game. Hurts did miss Quez Watkins on a deep throw. Well, not a deep throw. It was an under route throw. He saw as he was throwing it that Watkins was wide open. But again, was he wide open because the pass was being thrown and the defenders were coming down towards the ball? I don't really know, but he instantly was like hands to head. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed him. So yeah, but good game. Devontae Smith did have a fumble, which does hurt. But again, I mean, he's your best target. You just got to give him the ball and live with it. Sorry. What else happened here? The Panthers. Sam Darnold, 3 interceptions and a touchdown. Very, very bad game. I think he was seeing ghosts. I don't know. Maybe he saw ghosts of the Jets. Not really sure what happened there. However, Chubbard. 24 carries for 101 yards. He also had 5 catches for 33 yards. Very nice game out of Chuba Wumba. DJ Moore, subpar game, 5 for 42, but again was indicative of the game that Sam Darnold had. Sam Darnold did not have a good game. DJ Moore did not have a good game. Robbie Anderson had 7 targets. 7 targets. 2 catches for 30 yards. At least he looked this way more. Makes no sense to me, though. Christian McCaffrey is possibly coming back next week. So again, just keep that in mind that you may want to keep Chuba Hubbard in your starting lineup. Just be sure to stay aware of what is going on with Chris McCaffrey and practices, as it is a hamstring injury, and those can linger if not healed all the way. Sorry for my sniffling. I apologize. Next, we have Titans Jaguars. This was close for a little while, and then it just got out of hand real quick. Derrick Henry's a beast, 29 for 130, and 3 touchdowns. The Jaguars, though, I give them credit, man. The Jaguars, Urban Meyer is their coach. The Jaguars really tried to grind out this game. They really did try to grind it out. James Robinson, 18 carries for 149 yards. They finally figured it out. I don't know why Carlos Hyde was getting certain carries in certain situations, but they figured it out. James Robinson, 18 for 149 and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence also had 7 carries, 28 yards, and a touchdown as well. I did skip over some of the other receivers for the Titans. I'll get back to that. Dan Arnold had 6 catches for 64 yards and 8 targets. This might be a thing considering that DJ Chark is out. Laviska Shenault only had 1 catch for 58 yards, and he broke about 18 tackles to get those 58 yards. He probably ran more across the field than he did actually vertically. He ran more horizontally. Tavon Austin, 5 for 54. I don't think you're rushing out to get him. Jamal Agnew had 8 targets for 6 catches and 41 yards. You hate to see it happen where Marvin Jones gets 1 for 25 on 5 targets. I want to see how those throws went for him. That could have been indicative of his low catch percentage. Trevor Lawrence, so did have a good game. He's been becoming more and more efficient. 23 for 33 with a touchdown and a pick, but you can see the progress he's making. They're getting close to having something. But Dan Arnold is something to look at, especially I'll break it more in depth on the waiver wire for somebody to take a look at Dan Arnold. But A.J. Brown, 6 targets, 3 catches, 38 yards. It's A.J. Brown. You're still going to start him because of his potential and what he is. I just think it had to do with coming back from the off week from the injury. It's going to take him, maybe this game or the next game to come out of it, but I think he'll be okay. But again, you're going to start A.J. Brown. You're going to start Derrick Henry. I'm not crazy about Ryan Tannehill yet. Still, I want to see more consistency. The problem is he can go off for those big games. If they want to give Henry a little bit of a break. Henry did have no catches. He was very off the field a lot on certain passing situations. I don't know if they were just trying to protect him. Jeremy McNichols was on the field a lot on passing situations. But Derrick Henry had, like I said, 29 for 130 and 3 touchdowns. So that is it for the Jaguars-Titans. The Jaguars play the Dolphins in London on Sunday. I am not looking forward to that game. Then we have the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans, the other Texas team. Jeez, I can't talk right now. All right. Patriots win, a barn burner. This game was just ugly, okay? Mac Jones threw the ball 30 times, efficient, had an interception, and did have a touchdown. He is very efficient, and I think the more and more he throws the ball, the more and more consistent and confidence they'll gain in him. Sorry about that. I need to mute my mic because I sneezed a couple times. Damon Harris had a touchdown taken away from him as he was diving in. He fumbled. He did get hurt. 14 for 58 and a touchdown. Like I said, though, he should have had 2 touchdowns, which would have been a better game for him. Ramondre Stevenson came in and had 11 for 23. Brandon Baldwin had 2 for 25 on carries. Want to see how bad Damon Harris's injury is, to kind of see what's going on there. He also did fumble, so Belichick does like to kind of punish running backs who fumble. So we'll see what happens there. So the receivers, I have Jacoby Myers, one of my leagues. I was very heartbroken to see that he only had 4 catches on 5 targets. And Hunter Henry was the guy, 8 targets, 6 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. It's a nice game from Hunter Henry. I was finally happy to see him do something. I'm sure he'll be a good fit in there. He's a great tight end, um, especially with this year with tight ends being so weak. He's a very, very, very good tight end. Um, he just has to stay healthy. He had injury problems when he was with the Chargers, so just got to stay healthy there. And I think it's an ugly game. I think Myers will have better time. Have Jacoby will have better games. This Patriots were, from what I've been hearing, missing 4 starting offensive linemen, which does it. Just saying. For the Texans, I said this a couple weeks back that Davis Mills, don't sleep on him. I get it. The previous week, terrible game, 4 picks. This game, though, 21-29, QBR of 81.3 and a passer rating of 141.7. My man went off. 3 touchdowns, 312 yards. Very good game. Against a very good defense who tends to Bill Belichick tends to play rookie quarterbacks very, very rough. He tends to give him a really hard time. Very, very tough, I should say. But he had a very nice flea flicker pass. He just looked good. He hit their tight end, Eckler. He had 1 catch for 11 yards and a touchdown. Chris Conley, he hit. And Chris Moore had a very nice catch. Brandon Cooks, 3 catches on 5 targets for 23 yards. Very subpar game. Not really playing anybody from Houston. I think Brandon Cooks is pretty much benchable now, to be completely honest with you. I want to see a better game from him again before I trust him. But I think as Davis Mills develops, he's going to be able to spread the ball a little bit more. I think he's a better passer than Tyrod Taylor. It's a stronger arm. But Tyrod does like Brandon Cooks. So if Taylor comes back, look for Cooks to have better games. Cooks' numbers have gone down since Mills has started. So that's something to pay attention to if the two, if there is a correlation there. Next, going to go Bears Raiders, and I'm keeping this to football and football only. Justin Fields, 20 pass attempts for 111 yards on 12 completions and a touchdown. I don't know what to tell you. Khalil Herbert and Damian Williams, about 50-50 on carries. 16 for Williams and 18 for Herbert. Wow. Okay. Well, that sucks considering I have Damian Williams in one of my leagues. But I think that's going to be a steady flow of both players. I think you're going to be safe there. I think Damian Williams is still your safest bet, considering he's been the most proven one so far during his career. Darnell Mooney, the catching game was terrible. You're not really starting any receivers here. I said, maybe Mooney. The Raiders have a good defense. They were just distracted because of other things going on in their locker room. Hunter Renfrow shows you he should probably be started. In lineups, 8 targets, 6 catches, 56 yards, 11 points, 11.6 points, roughly nothing crazy, but again, it's just something. Josh Jacobs for the Raiders, he had 48 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown, and Derek Carr, not a good game. But there's a lot of stuff they had going on there. So we'll see how the weeks play out and what they can do going forward. We shall see, but I think really the person you're going to start here is Josh Jacobs, lineup depending, and Hunter Renfrow. And I don't feel comfortable really starting anybody from the Bears unless it's Damian Williams. I want to see Khalil Herbert do it again. We'll go Chargers, Browns. The amount of offense in this game was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Can I see how many total yards? 1,000 yards of offense. 1,000. The Browns had more yards than the Chargers and still lost. David Njoku, great game. 7 catches on 7 targets, 149 yards and a touchdown, and a long run of 71 yards. David Njoku was doing his best OBJ impersonations. And also, I've talked about him. I have him in a dynasty league. I did talk about, Demetric Felton, and that's fallen flat on its face. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, take a look. He's a big body. He can catch the ball, has good speed. I watched him in college while he was there at Michigan. I'm a huge Michigan fan. So I have a lot of years of watching this kid. Almost 3, but still. He was second in targets behind a tie with Kareem Hunt behind Njoku. OBJ, your career, man, what happened? It's better than mine, but you said that you thought the Giants could try to end your career by sending you to Cleveland, and guess what, buddy? They did. My thoughts about Baker Mayfield, he's not going to win you games. I just don't think he has it in him to win you games. Bad non-throwing shoulder or not, he is yet to prove to me that he can go down, take his team, and drive and win the game. He might put up decent numbers as a game manager, as a Mark Sanchez, but even Mark Sanchez won some games every once in a while, i.e. Colts in the AFC Championship game, or i.e. Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Sometimes you got to make throws, and Mark Sanchez made them. This guy doesn't. Textbook definition of a game manager. Textbook. Just like Daniel Jones, a little bit of a game manager, but I think Jones could be better than Mayfield if given the right, if you get rid of Jason Garrett, just saying. But you see how he plays better when he's not forcing the ball to OBJ. One thing, he's an NFL quarterback. He can throw the ball. He can make throws. I'm just saying from a standpoint of when he has to make certain throws, he can't make them when the game's on the line. Nick Chubb, crazy good game, long run. It's 161 yards and 21 carries and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt had 61 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. And did not have a receiving touchdown, but he did have 5 catches. You're starting probably both running backs. You could probably, I think I said this previously, you're starting both running backs as if it's Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor. You're just going to. Back in the day, they're both going to get you points. You could start them on the same team is what I'm saying. You could have both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt start them both, and you're probably not going to lose. But keep in mind, I'm going to probably put a little bit of a waiver thing in for Donovan Peoples-Jones with bye weeks coming up and stuff like that. He is, Jarvis Landry. They're going to need somebody to stretch the field. Peoples-Jones is that bigger body, a little bit faster. Just, don't be surprised. Then we're going to go over to the young stud, Justin Herbert. This kid, 398 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 total touchdowns. Disgusting. The kid's going to win games. The kid on your fantasy team, and even just here, he clearly won the game for them. But I'm saying from a fantasy perspective, this kid can win you a game by himself. In one of my leagues, I had him benched. I think he got 70 points. Not benching him ever again. I had Matthew Stafford. I like the matchup for Stafford against the Seahawks Thursday night. Make a statement. NFC West. Boom. Nope. Not anymore, buddy. Starting Herbert all the way. Austin Eckler. He had 2 touchdowns. He didn't run for 2 touchdowns. He had 66 yards on 17 carries. He also had 5 catches for 53. Oh, and so he had 3 touchdowns in this game, Eckler. 2 that he ran in by himself. The third one, the Browns' entire defense carried him into the end zone to give the Browns the offense the ball back and score. Keenan Allen, 9 targets, 6 catches. Mike Williams. There's a drop. There's an audio. If you Google Mike Williams, you might see something. 16 targets. 16. 8 catches. 2 touchdowns. Also want to say, he's a good player. You're going to start him. I'm not denying that. However, 2 of those touchdown catches were blown coverages. He wide open. If you have Keenan Allen, do not panic. I have Keenan Allen. I am not panicking. He is going to get his. He's the possession guy. This was a little bit of a shootout. They couldn't stop Mike Williams. There's a lot of weapons there. This is what they thought Mike Williams could be when they drafted him years ago. But Keenan Allen is going to get you his catches. He's going to get you the 6 to 7 to 8 catches a game for around the 70 to 100 yard mark. And a touchdown because he's just that kind, but he's a possession receiver. Larry Fitzgerald. Excuse me. That was the Chargers game. So like I said, I stream on both Facebook and I also stream on Twitch. So real quick, on Facebook, one of my Facebook friends, we might have a guest spot talker. Mike, I'd be down. Man, I'm trying to do this with my cousin and another buddy of mine, but I'm always looking for people because I'm talking to myself for 55 minutes, which I have no problem doing. But yeah, man, another Giants fan, we'll take some heartbreak. We could do that. We could, if you're doing fantasy, be more than happy to get you on and do that stuff too. We'll figure it out for sure. We'll be in touch. I'll reach out and I think I might still have your number, but I'll reach out and I'll message you after this when I'm all done. But yeah, man, Chargers, Browns sucks. My buddy wanted to pick up Mike Williams in a league, and I was like, we don't need him. We needed him. So next we're going to go Cardinals, 49ers. All right. Jimmy Garoppolo can't start quick enough for San Francisco. Trey Lance showed you he is not ready. He is not ready. He had 16 carries for 89 yards, though. The man was good for fantasy purposes. That's about it. That's about all you got out of him. Fantasy purposes and fantasy purposes only. Elijah Mitchell, 9 carries for 43 yards. Trey Sermon had 1 carry for 7. It looks like it's Elijah Mitchell's backfield. Nobody else really did too much. Deebo Samuel did have a 13-yard carry as a quarterback / running back that saved his fantasy game. Everybody took a hit as a receiver from a fantasy perspective. Everybody. The most targeted player was Deebo Samuel at 9, but he had 3 catches. Dude, I get it. Trey Lance, your arm talent is phenomenal. You are not ready. And for anybody who's been calling, like all the San Francisco 49ers fans, I get it. I don't watch them all the time. I understand. But this is why Kyle Shanahan has been going with Jimmy G. His one and only interception, I knew it was going to be an interception as he was stepping up into the pocket to throw the ball. It was deplorable. Again, these are professional athletes. I'm an armchair quarterback. Is what it is. Anyway, Elijah Mitchell showed you that he is the lead running back. And with Jimmy G possibly coming back ASAP for San Francisco's sake, you're going to see that, increase his carries and yards. When you have a rookie quarterback, you typically make the rookie quarterback who's making their first start beat you. And when they show they can beat you, then you take less people. You take people out of the box. So your running game is then better. You're going to make the rookie quarterback beat you. So you're going to load the box up and tell him, you're not running on us. You're not going to be able to run, and we're not going to fall for your play actions because we know you cannot run against us. And that's what happened. Just saying. Arizona Cardinals. Chase Edmonds playing with an injury. 6 carries for 15 yards. Kind of hurt me in fantasy for myself, but I happened to get a sneaky win because of Kyle Pitts, DK Metcalf, Kadarius Toney, and Jalen Hurts. That was it. I lost Saquon early, and I lost Daniel Jones early. I would have lit up the scoreboard if I still had them going because I still have Marquise Brown going. And I'm not supposed to do anything this year in Dynasty. I'm built for the future, and I'm still putting up points. I'd be undefeated right now if I didn't play the top 3 scores so far this year, in the first 3 weeks of the season. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. This was just a sloppy game. Wasn't Kyler Murray's best game from a fantasy standpoint. DeAndre Hopkins had a little bit, I guess you'd say, of his coming out party. 6 catches for 87 and a touchdown on 9 targets. Rondell Moore had 5 for 59. Christian Kirk, 5 for 39. Edmonds had 3 catches for 19 yards. Max Williams might be out for the season. AJ Green, nothing this game. James Conner, 1 catch for 8. James Conner had a touchdown. As always, doesn't surprise me. Too many weapons in Arizona. I have Christian Kirk on my team, and I want to talk to my buddy. Maybe we drop him for Kadarius Toney. Maybe we drop, other people for Devontae Booker. There's a lot of options we have. So I would probably rather have Kadarius Toney over Christian Kirk because Kadarius Toney is their best offensive weapon while Saquon Barkley is out. And they saw that. And that's what frustrates the hell out of Giants fans and Joe Judge because he literally showed you he's your most talented player on the field next to Saquon, and he punched somebody in the face or tried to. If he could have just stayed cool, he would have probably had over 200 yards, and they probably would have given him a touchdown. They would have found a way to get him a touchdown. But he got the best of them. It's a rivalry game. Things were going on early. Things were probably said. I get it. I don't expect any less from Cowboys players because they get it from their owner, and he should not be owning a football team. The Cowboys would have won Super Bowls by now, as much as it pains me, if they had a different owner. And they're going to play well, and they're going to win the division, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to lose in the playoffs because they're not built, and Mike McCarthy is going to blow the game for them because of his terrible clock management. And I have no issue with that. The Cowboys are a very talented team, and I will not and cannot deny that. Jerry Jones should not own that team, and they'd have numerous Super Bowls by now. Anyway, off my soapbox about that, we're going to go to the Sunday night game. Bills-Chiefs. Patty Mahomes has like 6 touchdowns in 5 or 6 interceptions in 5 games. I get it. Your offensive line took a huge hit. I get it. Once they take away Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, you have nobody. I get it. I understand that. But dude, calm down. You're your team's leading rusher. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 7 carries for 13 yards. Your leading receiver was Mecole Hardman. Let's be real. Okay? He had 12 targets. Hill had 13 targets. Travis Kelce had 10 targets. Look, CEH got hurt. Look for Darrell Williams. It's going to be the pickup. Okay, that you're going to want to pick up if you're CEH owner. Okay, Mahomes has to stop. Mahomes right now is very Zach Wilson-esque. He's looking for that crazy big play and taking chances he should be. He would pick you apart in the underneath game, and then he'd take the shot deep when you're sleeping on him. They have to go back to that. They gave him almost half a billion. They gave him almost $500 million. And it's backloaded, I'm fairly confident. He's talented. He took the league by storm his second season / rookie season. Threw 50 touchdowns. Won the Super Bowl. Then they lose. Now they lose offensive linemen. Now it's on him to be a quarterback. I don't doubt he can't be a quarterback, but it's really scary to see what he's like when he doesn't have protection, or to see what it's like when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers exposed him in the Super Bowl. It's a copycat league. Now, will he get right? Yes. Is he right? Yes. Andy Reid has to formulate something, and Andy Reid right now is in the lab working something up to make his quarterback look like the freaking superstar that he is. But it's scary. Their defense is deplorable, and he has to take chances to keep his team in the game. It's all, yes, the price of wheat in China affects the price, or the price of tea in China affects the wheat. Yes, it's all relative. The defense is affecting Patrick Mahomes because they suck, and he has to try to get the points back. I get it. He's taking more risks. I'm not saying he's not. But play more of the clock game. Make your top better, your time of possession. You do that, and you'll see better results, I think. Again, not a professional or anything. I'm just saying. It's scary to me. Hot take, man. Patrick Mahomes probably finishes outside the top 10 in fantasy quarterbacks. All right, top 8. We'll go top 8. It's scary. Their offensive line is terrible, and their defense is not getting better. Just saying. They're going to put up good numbers, but I don't think he's going to finish. No, he might be a top 8. He might just make the top 8. Just saying. Darrell Williams, you're going to look at him over CEH, especially if he's hurt. I'll get into that as well. He'll be on the waiver wire. McCall Hardman, yeah. Josh Gordon had a catch for 11 yards. They need Josh Gordon. They need Josh Gordon to hit the ground running and understand his playbook because they need him more than ever. And it was witnessed on national television last night. This game was not close at all. Tyreek Hill got his, but he's hurt with a knee injury. CEH is out with an MCL sprain. Travis Kelce got a stinger. Now it's time to see. I think Kelce should be all right, but if Hill has to miss time, what receivers are going to do it? I don't know. Go to Josh Allen. Josh Allen, leading rusher and leading passer. Obviously, leading passer. Total of 4 touchdowns. He threw for 315 yards. They did not have to throw the ball much, as their defense did a lot of the legwork. Emmanuel Sanders, 3 catches, 54 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dawson Knox, 3 catches, 117 yards, and a TD. Diggs had 2 catches on 5 targets and 69 yards. Diggs will do Diggs things. Moss had a good game. It is a Zach Moss backfield. Devin Singletary is not the lead back anymore. It is Zach Moss. You should be playing Zach Moss over Devin Singletary every day of the week. Zach Moss had a total of 92 yards. He had 3 catches for 55 and 11 carries for 37. Josh Allen led the team in rushing with 59 yards, and he got you the only rushing touchdown of the game. You're starting Emmanuel Sanders in PPR as a flex. 3 receiver leagues. You're starting with 3 receiver leagues. I do like him. You're starting Diggs and Sanders. Diggs, Sanders, and Knox, I think, are your top guys. In Buffalo. Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, they're going to just be game dependent if they're open. But those are your top 3 guys. Knox, Diggs, Sanders. And that's really going to do it. I previewed Monday night's game on my Friday/Saturday week 5 preview show episode. But we have tonight's game is oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Colts and Ravens game just started. So that being said, this episode is going to come out as this game is going on. It is my review episode. I give you all my hot takes, everything like that. Stay tuned for either tomorrow or Wednesday. I will be doing a waiver wire episode, probably going to be out on Wednesday. But guys, I appreciate anybody who came by. King, I appreciate you coming by on Twitch. Mike, I appreciate you coming by on Facebook. You guys have been great. As always, come by. I do 3 to 4 episodes a week. I do bets as well. We're not going to talk about my bets this week. Probably Wednesday. My bets were terrible. Hopefully nobody followed them. But yeah, guys, have a good one. Hopefully Michael Pittman doesn't do much this game. Hopefully Marquise Brown does his usual stuff. Guys, till next episode, which is the waiver wire one, have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. If this is the only one you're listening to, come back next time on another episode of Sports Euphoria. Guys, later.